level, it's terrible, it's tedious, and you can't work that way. So, in software, they built things to make their job easier. They didn't call it an operating system because operating systems hadn't gotten to the MIT instrumentation laboratory yet. They didn't know they existed. So the executive has low-level routines. We would now call them functions, but they called them routines at the time. They're very low level. They're take a bit of memory, fiddle with it a little bit, and then store it in another bit of memory. But it saves time because you can repeat these things. It does system restarts. So the executive is responsible for running jobs, and if it notices that the job is taking too much time, or if it notices that the job has failed, it will reboot the computer, or it will reboot the job, depending. It has supervision, so it's capable of telling that a job has failed in a bad state, and then restart it later. So if a job has failed in a bad state but scheduled itself to run in another 120 milliseconds, that can't be allowed because it probably didn't do the right thing, and it keeps the core set. So the core set is another one of the priority scheduling task queues, and it's limited to 12. And the interesting thing about the core set versus the wait list is that the core set is programmable. So at runtime, the software that's inside of the AGC can add more and more things to this core set. Now, there's nothing to stop the core set from filling up. You've only got 12, and by convention, you should never go past 11. But there's no invariant in the system to mandate this because the system does not have spare resources to do this sort of thing. And you see that all throughout the Apollo guidance computers. Most invariant guarantees are left to analysis and testing. So the way they would test is they would simulate this on a Honeywell mainframe, and they would have an astronaut sit in a mock-up of the Apollo spacecraft and then fly the thing. And if it killed them in simulation, they went back to the drawing board. So the core set is priority ordered. This is where priority scheduling comes in. So each one of these jobs has a metadata tag of 7 bits, and it tells you the priority, the relative priority of these things. So the AGC, when it gets interrupted periodically by TPORUP, will go through and it will pick the job with the highest priority, and it will run it for 20 milliseconds. And if this is not enough time, too bad. So the 20 milliseconds interrupt happens, and then you have the option to use the interpreter.